Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis, where we're checking in with the Muslim community and seeing how folks are doing and how they're adjusting amidst the coronavirus and the statewide stay-at-home order. Here with me, we have Shaikh Kafani Ibrahim Hasan Cisse. He's a local community leader and a teacher. He was also recently, he's recently recovered from the coronavirus. And so we just wanted to check in with him. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Kafani. How are you?
Walaikum salam, Sidi Raja Jafari. How is everything?
Things are good on my end. I'm healthy and I'm staying active. So, I wanted to ask you about your experience going through this illness and how you dealt with it and how you got through it. But just want to check in with you real quick. I know, you're married, you've got a family. How are you doing now, and how's your family doing?
Alhamdulillah, as of April, wow, I've lost track of months. I was under the whole month, almost 5 weeks. The 30th, I was finally cleared with the negative status for COVID. I actually had to take 3 tests. The initial one to find out if I was positive. After about 2 weeks, I took a secondary test, which was frustrating because I was still positive. I had to wait another 7 days, and then I got a negative. For me. So right now we're just getting used to being with my family, hug my wife for the first time in a month, my son and family, and just getting out and about and everything as such.
Alhamdulillah, I'm glad to see that you're doing much better now. So why don't you walk us through a little bit with what happened and when did you start feeling sick?
Most people ask me how I'm an essential worker, basically admire.
Mm.
I'm doing an electronics department. I'm not really in grocery or anything.
Mm.
But I ordered a mask. I wanted to get one before they made the quote unquote edit to get a mask. At time, initially I felt like almost a pink eye, still a little now, feeling of water coming out the corner of my eyes. I would say some fever and things like that, but a dry cough without phlegm and things. And in the end, I came home a Thursday evening and got one of the favorite African dishes I have called dibi from Kalahari restaurant, African restaurant, and something to drink. And when I ate it, I couldn't, it tasted funny to me, and I just realized I couldn't smell or taste. And so instead of engaging my family, I extremely quarantined myself, in my basement, and separated myself from them as a whole. Yeah.
And how long was your illness?
Uh, um, just about a month, almost 5 weeks. As I said, I couldn't get a test through the original routes through the fairgrounds and everything. It was some Muslims, matter of fact, premier medical services or solutions. Alhamdulillah, Dr. Suleiman, my brother Muhammad Suleiman, who was with me and studying with Shah Abdul Karim Yahya. I was referred by our brother Jermaine, and so I was finally able to get a test, but that was only 8 days after I knew I was sick. I've been quarantining with and then I didn't get any medicine initially from doctors about 10 or 11 days after, because they gave me a prescription and everything. And that was only some Robitussin, a Butterol inhaler, which I've never had to use, antibiotic, and benzoate, which was good for my lungs because I was coughing so hard that my ribs felt like they were gonna.
Oof. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. There were some trying times. It's not a hoax, and it wasn't just a easy fly-by thing. But the thing that really helped me that many people don't know, because a lot of people are sitting at home and they're dying, is that you have to take all the natural methods. Take, for instance, all of us should strengthen ourselves with vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, zinc, and these such as that, but increase ourselves and our immune systems. And the only other thing that really helped me was I was steaming. I did extreme steaming initially from a doctor I know of in our community, Dr. Karima Joseph, may Allah bless her and raise her.
Hmm.
and that's prayed for Imam Salim because he gets dialysis, but he wound up becoming sick too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when she did that, she told me the extremely stream, and many of her heard of it. Some people think it's a conspiracy theory, but I know it saved my life. And that was just a
Hmm.
steam with this some water, some orange peels, cut up some onions in it. I put apple cider vinegar and salt, and then you just deep breathe it 15 minutes. But I did it in extreme form at first, 15 minutes on, rested 15, 15 minutes, rested 15. But
Hmm.
within 3 days with steaming, I got my smell and taste back. So
Hmm.
that was good. And everything else was like black seed, AEAB, sumac, in the end, what really helped me was sea moss with moringa. But those are the things that really helped me. It was nothing they
Hmm.
really gave help.
Yeah, thank
Mm.
you. That was actually going to be my next question. I was going to ask you what are some of the things that you focused on,
Mhm.
and also, I really want to know,
Mhm.
spiritually, how do you think you were affected by the situation, and what were some of the practices that helped you get through this beyond the food, beyond the medicine, beyond the diet and all
Well,
that stuff. You know,
well,
let's get into that a
I,
little bit.
I I always loved the ayat where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he says, "Wa idha maritu, huwa yashfini." And he said, "And if you're sick, it is me who heals you." So, I mean, there were a lot of trying times because I went through extreme bouts of depression,
Mm,
anxiety concerning my family because we're only a floor apart from each other, but that can separate you, because you can't really communicate like you would just by phone. It created anxiety for our son who's autistic, and he was thinking like, we usually play, talk, and things like that. But he's like, why can't I do it? He's just downstairs, you know.
mm,
So that anxiety, depression, denial, some grief, because all those things go through your mind within the 30 years, all just about 30 amount of days I was there. Out of those 30 days, 25 of them people I personally knew died. So when you're
wow.
seeing almost every day somebody die from the
Yeah.
ailment that you have, it's really trying upon you. So I had to rely upon Allah, to work on Allah. And then I had to rely on Allah in such a way that you have to realize that your life and your death is in His hands. And so when you're at that door, or when your belief is truly tested, and your love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is truly tested, I don't know if many people would have been able to deal with the hardship of it, because there's a mild form, a moderate form, and extreme form.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's alhamdulillah, I had the moderate form, but it was still very harsh. And we all have to really realize that this sickness is not just attacking your lungs, it's attacking your lungs, your kidney, your heart, your liver, your central nervous system, feelings that I never felt before going through my body. And it was just trying. I had to listen to my body. I had to get up. I couldn't lay down and sit. I'm glad I studied Tai Chi. I was able to work out a little bit of things because literally what they're saying, I would think for someone who has a sickness is the worst advice. If you sit at home and just try to sweat it out and wait it out, you don't work out, you don't fight it and do things with your immune system, you're going to get to a point in which you're close to death or you're out of breath. And
Hmm.
then when you go to the hospital, what are they doing? They're intubating people to just slice your throat, throw a tube down your throat, and flip a coin as to whether you live or not. And a lot of people are dying.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing all that. One of the points that you made is that how it affects so many organs beyond, the
Oh
lungs.
yes.
And
Oh yes.
yesterday, I spoke to Dr. Hassan Shanawani, who's a pulmonologist, a lung doctor, and he's
Mhm.
been working in ICUs right
Mhm.
now, and he also talked about exactly what you said. I mean, this is a system-wide failure, when it really starts
Yes.
to spread in the body. So, I mean, you had to live through that. Now,
Mhm.
what were the adjustments that your family had to make at home? I know that you guys weren't able to really connect with each other. How were they able to support you through this?
Well, at least my wife was still an essential worker. She was working because we just recently moved. I just got a new
Mm,
home, new mortgage, a new everything. A week after we got here, the
mm,
lockdown happened. Two
mm,
weeks after that, I got sick.
mm.
So bills are coming. The school is shut down with our autistic son. It changed his program. He's used to doing things exactly. Now he doesn't have school. We have
Mm.
to supplement that time for him because you don't want him to dumb me down. I have a 79-year-old elder, her father, who lives with me, and I just didn't want to affect him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
really, we had to have more compassion for each other because at times I was anxious because of my situation and depressed, and I had to start to understand her more. Maybe I would ask for something, and she really wouldn't understand me, or when she would ask me something, I really was. So the communication barriers had to stay open, and we really had to always seek forgiveness from each other because uh, when you are in a situation like that, and you're just talking on the phone, or you're just texting, words can get misconstrued.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
That was a battle, and created some anxiety too. I mean, I know it was hard upon my wife because we're used to doing a lot together, and even it was
Mm.
hard upon me. It was very hard. I mean, for me to not even be able to look at, talk to, hug, or even touch my wife for a month.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always see you guys together at different events at the Muslim Center or in the community. And so I'm so happy that you're recovered. You made
Yeah.
it through on the other side. You
Yeah,
know,
but actually, I'm still just trying to. I'm better. I'm negative, but I know that the regimen of things that I did, I'm going to have to continue for a month or two. There have been people who got better. I know of an
yeah.
elder in our community, a martial artist named Kalindi Iyi, got
Mm,
better, but rushed into working out a little bit too quickly, and he wound up dying. You know,
mm,
this thing really affects you funny. It makes you be people have to start listening to and becoming aware to your body because I had to really because where alhamdulillah it didn't affect all of my lungs, but the infection did get its way to the top of my lungs. And at the
mm.
worst of it, the best way I could say is if someone had two hands in your lungs and they had little needles on it and they were just pricking the
Ah,
top of it.
jeez.
So the
Wow.
people who are getting it through their whole lungs who can't breathe, that's how it feels because they said it
Oof.
gets like fiberglass. There's no way to take it out of the lungs. You have to cough and breathe it out. But that was the most uniquely painful experience I've ever had in my life. It's like I said, I was coughing so hard that it felt like my ribs were going to break and I would have to hug myself
Mm,
just to abate by the thing because I didn't have medicine at that time, you
mm.
know.
Just to, close things out, we are in the month of Ramadan, and, and all of us really have a lot to be grateful for,
Mhm.
considering the circumstances. And, what advice do you have, for the community right now? As we're all trying to follow the orders, the state has laid out, and it's affecting us in a lot of negative ways in terms of the economy and jobs and things like that. How do we find strength and how do we get through the situation, particularly taking advantage of this time in Ramadan?
Well, alhamdulillah, I was able to get well enough right before Ramadan to start fasting. This would
Mm,
be I've been Muslim since 1989, and there
mm,
hasn't been one I've not fasted. And that was really hard on me. I was
mm,
thinking, what if I'm not able to fast? But if you're not able to fast, Allah has provided for it. And Allah has given us concessions for it and things. Alhamdulillah, I was able to fast. And during Shaban, when I was sick, I wanted to fast but couldn't. But at this time, I was strong enough. And it's actually, in the end, getting better. It's helping me,
mm.
centralize things and like that. But and I know it's hard upon the community because we're not coming together for Salah. We may not be coming together for the Eid. We're not able to come together for Jummah. And there are some people who are making declarations about things that are not benefiting the society or the Muslims as a whole. During the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he advises, especially when the plague is in the area, then stay there and don't leave. But if it's a plague is in another area, don't leave where you are where it's healthy to go there. So we have to fortify ourselves. Right now, all the men, the brothers, they have to learn how to become an imam. You have to be the imam of your own household. You all have to make salat together. You have to fortify your deen. There have been many people who contacted me and said they didn't know how to do it. I was like, well, you got to do it now.
Got to learn.
You have to, I'm not coming over there to do it. So looking at that, but what is a good thing that I've seen is that we as Muslims were so communal in ways now, but we're helping each other and benefiting. And things like this in Zoom, I was able to see my Sheikh from West Africa 2 or 3 times within the last week because of that. Before this, we never would have done that. I've seen Tafsir of Shaikh Ibrahim Hasan by Sheikh Fakhruddin Owaisi, who was in South Africa and doing a class, for us here. Us getting together for our spiritual practices online. And I think most of the Muslims in the communities should make interactions like this so that we can interact with each other. Because really, we're learning now we need each other more than we really realize. And Islam is very communal. It's very communal. And so without having these things here, people, they have to rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. We need to pray more. We need to increase ourselves in dhikr. But we also need to realize that it's not social distancing doesn't mean that we don't need to have social communication. It doesn't mean that we don't have to talk to each other or check on each other. I've always said, when I was sick, some people was like, man, I was thinking about you. And I'm telling everybody now, if there's anybody that you know or if you love in your family that you may in good terms with or not, if you think about them, call them. Because that is the equivalent to when we get our phones now, when a message comes up and the notification pings, we're always rushing to see what message it is. And now Allah is giving us those messages and those pings are going off and we ignore them. So we have to, increase ourselves in rahmah, especially during this month. We've gone from the first 10 of mercy into forgiveness. So we're asking that, all the brothers and sisters, they connect themselves more with their imams and their community and just help each other more and reach out to each other more.
Yeah, thank you so much for leaving us with that. I mean, that's really important right now. We're trying to do the same thing with this project, just trying to stay connected with people and get these stories out there. Because you're right, it's really important for us as a community to stay connected, especially in a time like this. So Jazakallah khair for your time and for your advice. And I'm so happy that you're doing much, much better now. It's really good to see you. I can't even imagine. Yeah, I can't even imagine. But I hope that your recovery continues and that everybody who's sick will continue to recover. Ameen. And inshallah, we'll get to see each other in person soon when all of this is over.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Oh, and this is one of Imam Salim's pieces right there.
Oh, in the background.
Yeah, in the background.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Shaikh Kafani. We'll see you soon. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, wa alaikum salam.